Hey everybody, it is Friday and we have got a new video. Today we're going to be talking about books. The books that I read this year in 2019, not all of them, but a lot of the ones that had a big impact on my life. See, what I'm learning is that the information I consume, my inputs, is having direct effect on my outputs, my performance, my ability to lead, my understanding of myself, etc. Now, one of the hardest things I've learned this year is to be a good or great leader. You need to be able to get out of the way of your team, the people you've put in leadership. Now, in other words, you got to get out of the way of management. And that doesn't mean not being a micromanager, because a lot of people think, well, I'm not a micromanager, but they're still involved in everything. I think you truly need to give your team some autonomy and freedom with appropriate checks and balances. But once you do that, all of a sudden you have all this extra time. So what do you do with your extra time? I like to read books. It's a difficult thing in the sense of not getting in everyone else's business, but for me, it's been hugely impactful to empower my team. And they actually, you'll be surprised, do a lot better without you than with you sometimes because they stop defaulting to you and they start to think on their own. So let's talk about the books I read this year while using my extra time. So first one is The Founder's Dilemma. Founder's Dilemma is great if you want to start a new business, start a company. I kind of read it, almost 6 years in, but it was terrific for understanding, like, hey, if you were to start a business, do you want a partner? Do you not? Who should be your partner? How do you find a partner? How much equity do you give? How much do you not give? If you're going to raise capital, should you not raise capital? What should you be aware of if you do raise capital? All of these different questions were hugely influential in helping me start to understand the business landscape better and just drive awareness. So if you're starting a new business, Founder's Dilemma is phenomenal, and it will address all the questions you might have when thinking about, hey, should I be aware of that or should I be aware of this? And it explores it all in a fascinating way. The next book we're going to look at is called On Grand Strategy. Now, On Grand Strategy helps you understand, what did great strategic leaders of the past do? How did they think? Why were they successful? What strategic tactics did they employ? Like, when you understand essentially the past, you can better act in the present. This book is phenomenal for that and will definitely level up your strategic ability, and I highly recommend it. Next is Thinking in Bets. Thinking in Bets, great book. I think it's Annie Duke. Now, it was a little slow for me, but it is a good book in the sense that, like, it really dives in, hey, how do I make better decisions? How do I not become paralyzed by decisions? How do I change my perspective of a situation and of a decision I've made? Really, really powerful and impactful. Highly recommend it. It's a different read than a lot of kind of books. I don't know how to explain it necessarily, but it's not one of those books that you're like, can't set down, but it is a book that is worth grinding through. Maybe Audible would even be great on this one. But that is Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. The lessons of history. I love understanding the past. We kind of talked about that before. But when you read this book, it is phenomenal to understand past cultures, anthropology, what's happened, how's the world changed and defined, and how have we gotten to the place we've been in today, right? We've gone through so much peace for such an extended period of time in the US that it's created a completely different culture. And you have to look back centuries to find similar cultures. But then, as always, these cultures have risen and fallen. Why would we fall? When will we fall? What do we need to be aware of? How could we prevent this? Really great book, and there's a ton of lessons, obviously, we can get from history. Highly recommend. Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Next book. Terrific book. You're the most important person, period. Managing yourself, you have complete control of. Managing everyone else, good luck, right? They're going to have their own issues, just like I know you have yours, just like I know I have mine. Managing oneself is huge because it helps you take extreme ownership and look at, what can I do personally to drive change and drive results. Love the book. Great for your career. Great for business acumen. Great for awareness. Anything Peter Drucker wrote, highly recommend. The next one is Turning the Flywheel. This is the kind of, I don't know what the word is, like antidote, the second book from Good to Great. So essentially Good to Great, phenomenal book. Looks at a lot of case studies of why are some businesses good and what makes the great ones different from the good ones. Okay, awesome book. But what I really liked was the flywheel effect. And so the second book is kind of just like an add-on that you can dive into. And it dives into how you can define your flywheel effect. For example, at Directive, our flywheel effect is great talent, turns into great retention, which turns into great margins. From great margins, we're able to have great branding. And from great branding, we're able to get great clients. And once we have great clients, we can get great talent, and we start all over again. So our flywheel effect is like that. Yours can be totally different, but it's really important, I think, in my opinion, to define it. Once you define your flywheel effect, you can allocate resources, time, energy, departments, focus, and all of these things to increasing your growth rate and your business's success. Definitely recommend it. And last but not least, Principles by Ray Dalio. Principles, phenomenal book. Now, as leaders, we often think about our mission, our vision, and our values. These are great things, don't want to diminish those. But the reality is that our team, the people who work for us and with us, values, mission, vision aren't always as impactful and as relevant as we might hope they are in their daily work. Principles, on the other hand, help you define your culture and say, here's what we stand for in our daily work, right? Minute-long conversations save hours of wasted work. 40 hours of deep work is enough. These are just 2 examples of the principles at Directive that have helped define our entire business. So I highly recommend it. Ray Dalio, Principles. Define your own. Walk away. Actually take some time. Write out your principles. Publish them. Put them on everybody's desks. Make those the cornerstone of your culture. It'll be highly effective and better than your mission, your vision, or your values. Definitely recommend. So those are the books. They've completely shaped me, changed my opinion on things, helped me see things differently, grown me. Yeah, let me know in the comments below what your favorite books are, and subscribe every Friday, new videos. Thanks, and have a great day.